They called you a conspiracy theorist. They said you were paranoid, and then the documents got declassified. Today, I'm showing you 5 government operations that sound impossible but are documented historical facts. We're counting down from 5 to 1, and trust me, you need to stay until number 1. It's the operation that proves just how deep government deception actually goes. Number 5 will shock you. Number 1 will change how you see everything. Number 5. The radiation experiments. From the 1940s through the 1970s, the U.S. government conducted secret radiation experiments on American citizens without their knowledge or consent. Prisoners, hospital patients, pregnant women, mentally disabled children, and soldiers were all used as test subjects. At Vanderbilt University, pregnant women were given vitamin drinks that were actually radioactive iron. Researchers wanted to study how radiation passed to fetuses. At least 3 children died from cancers likely caused by these experiments. The women were never told they were subjects of radiation research. At the Walter E. Fernald State School in Massachusetts, mentally disabled boys were fed radioactive oatmeal. The boys thought they were in a special science club. Researchers told parents these were nutritional studies. They were actually testing how radiation moved through the body. The boys were chosen specifically because they were, quote, feeble-minded and wouldn't understand what was being done to them. In Oregon and Washington state prisons, prisoners had their testicles exposed to radiation to study effects on sperm production. They were offered small payments and early parole consideration, but weren't told about cancer risks or permanent damage. Soldiers were ordered to stand in trenches during above-ground nuclear tests, then ordered to march toward ground zero immediately after detonation. They were told radiation posed no danger. Thousands developed cancers. The military denied any connection for decades. For decades, the government denied these experiments existed. Scientists involved lied about the risks they knew radiation posed. Records were destroyed or classified. Victims who developed cancers and tried to sue were told they had no proof. In 1993, journalist Eileen Wellsome won a Pulitzer Prize uncovering the experiments. In 1994, President Clinton established the Advisory Committee on Human Radiation Experiments. The committee confirmed thousands of experiments on unwitting subjects, systematic ethical violations, lack of informed consent, and deliberate targeting of vulnerable populations. Number 4. The Phoenix Program. From 1968 to 1972, the CIA ran a systematic assassination and torture campaign in Vietnam. Official numbers say 26,000 people were killed. Some estimates put the death toll over 40,000. The State Department admits 35,000 Vietnamese civilians were murdered or abducted in just Nixon's first 2.5 years. Provincial reconnaissance units would capture suspected Viet Cong members and civilians thought to have information. These people were taken to interrogation centers and tortured. K. Barton Osborne, a military intelligence official with Phoenix, testified before Congress describing inserting dowels into captives' ears and hammering them into their brains, electric shock to genitals, rape, water torture, and throwing prisoners from helicopters. Osborne testified, "I never knew in the course of all those operations any detainee to live through his interrogation. They all died." William Colby, CIA station chief in Vietnam, testified that Phoenix killed over 20,000 people. He defended it as necessary, but admitted mistakes were made and innocent civilians were killed. Lieutenant Vincent Okamoto said the problem was how do you find the people on the blacklist? They often couldn't. Many victims were personal enemies of local officials, people who refused bribes, or completely innocent civilians. Provincial officials had monthly quotas for how many Viet Cong to neutralize. If you needed to hit your numbers, you grabbed whoever was convenient. The program was exported to Latin America through Project X. Phoenix torture techniques were taught at the School of Americas. The death squads that terrorized Chile, Argentina, El Salvador, and Guatemala were trained by CIA operatives using Phoenix methods. The program was exposed in congressional hearings. Officials testified under oath, and then everyone moved on. Number 3. COINTELPRO. In the 1960s and 70s, people claimed the FBI was infiltrating activist groups, spreading misinformation, encouraging violence, and trying to destroy domestic political movements. The response was, "You're paranoid. The FBI doesn't do that. They're law enforcement." In 1971, activists broke into an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania, and stole documents. The documents revealed COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program. The FBI had been infiltrating civil rights groups, the Black Panthers, and anti-war movements. They used informants, spread false information, and encouraged illegal activity to discredit movements. They sent Martin Luther King Jr. a letter suggesting he kill himself. They assassinated Fred Hampton in his bed while he slept. The Church Committee investigated in 1975 and confirmed it was all real. The program was officially shut down in 1971 when exposed, but the techniques continued, just under different names with better operational security. Number 2. Operation Gladio. During the Cold War, NATO and the CIA created secret armies across Europe. The official story was they were stay-behind forces to resist Soviet invasion. The reality was they became instruments of domestic terrorism designed to manipulate elections. Here's how it worked. Recruit right-wing extremists and former fascists, train them in terrorism and guerrilla warfare, have them bomb civilians, blame the attacks on left-wing groups, use public fear to shift politics rightward. Italy's years of lead saw dozens of terrorist attacks from the 1960s through the 1980s. The Piazza Fontana bombing in 1969 killed 16 people. The Bologna train station massacre in 1980 killed 85 people and injured 200. For years, these attacks were blamed on left-wing terrorists. Then, in 1990, Italian judge Felice Casson discovered Italian intelligence and the CIA planned a false flag assassination attempt on Aldo Moro. The plan was to deliberately fail, have the fake assassin claim communists ordered it, then justify mass arrests of leftists. In 1978, Moro was actually kidnapped and murdered by the Red Brigades. Many researchers believe Gladio operatives infiltrated the Red Brigades to ensure Moro died because he had discovered documents about Gladio. NATO and the CIA conducted terrorism against European civilians to manipulate elections. They bombed train stations. They killed children. They blamed communists. This is documented and admitted. Number 1, and here it is, the one that changes everything. BCCI, the Bank of Credit and Commerce International. This wasn't just a corrupt bank. This was the CIA's criminal banking network that proves intelligence agencies operate completely outside the law with zero accountability. BCCI was founded in 1972 and became one of the world's largest banks. It was also what investigators called the most corrupt bank in history, a criminal enterprise disguised as a financial institution. The bank laundered money for drug cartels, including Pablo Escobar. It facilitated arms dealing. It financed terrorism. It helped dictators hide stolen wealth. And, most importantly, it enabled CIA covert operations. BCCI wasn't just used by the CIA, it was essentially created for CIA purposes. The bank helped fund covert operations that Congress hadn't authorized. It moved money for the Afghan Mujahideen, including Osama bin Laden, for Nicaraguan Contras, for dictators the U.S. supported, and for drug traffickers working with CIA-backed forces. Former CIA officials sat on BCCI's board. The bank had offices at CIA headquarters. When legitimate banks wouldn't touch certain CIA operations, BCCI would. The bank operated in 73 countries using shell companies and weak jurisdictions. Money would enter through one subsidiary, bounce through multiple jurisdictions, and emerge clean somewhere else. The bank kept multiple sets of books, one for regulators, one for major clients, and one for actual criminal activity. BCCI also defrauded regular depositors of billions of dollars. When it collapsed in 1991,